Fires of 2003 burned down more than 80,000 acres of land in Southern California.
It was one of the most dangerous fires witnessed in Southern California. Based on the damage wreaked by the fires, it has been deduced that this was one of the most costly fires seen ever in California. Thankfully, the Federal Fire Prevention and Control Act of 1974 was created to prevent situations such as these.
I remember looking outside the window and the sky was completely red and there were ashes falling from the sky.
I could see the fires from the windows and the flames erupting all over the place. My brother, he had to drive through the smoke and the fires in his first driver's ed lesson. Everyone was trying to evacuate at once, but it just created chaos for the firefighters who were trying to save everybody's homes.
We were constantly watching the news to make sure our house would be okay.
Our first response was immediate need into Lakeside, in Eucalyptus Hills. Pulled in there was homes on fire, the wind was blowing 40-50 miles an hour.
The firefighters had to decide which houses to save because some of them were beyond recovery.
We saved more homes by freelancing, what they call, which you're not supposed to do then if we were to go as a group, how you go to this one and you go to this one. That burned the most homes in the history of California.
Along with destroying 2,232 homes, the Cedar Fire also killed 1 firefighter and 14 civilians.
The Federal Fire Prevention and Control Act provided for rebuilding the homes of the citizens who had lost their homes and also provided for them with temporary housing while they were currently homeless.
Not only did the act repay the citizens for their patience, but it also repaid the firefighters.
We're protected by the tribal government. They provide what's called PPE, which is a personal protective equipment.
If the firefighters would have gotten hurt, they would have been protected the same way that any working citizen would have been by the government.
Any injuries the firefighters faced during the 2003 Cedar fires were compensated by the Federal Fire Prevention and Control Act of 1974. The act also provided them with workman's comp while they were on sick leave. The act provides assistance for the firefighters and it opens up a revenue for them through grants and contracts.
Because of the severity of the 2003 Cedar fires, the act helped to provide the firefighters with better equipment.
This department alone has upgraded a lot of equipment. Through certain grants we get new equipment. We've got new chainsaws, new rescue equipment that's kind of geared towards newer vehicles that have stronger metals, so we can cut through that and work around it.
We must ensure that first responders who are out there protecting lives, homes, businesses receive the training and support they need.
If one of us goes to the academy, we have a set that gets torn up, and then as soon as we're done for that, we have one that's fire ready.
From locals to various federal agencies, it's important we have comprehensive protection and response no matter where a fire occurs.
For example, the Act provided money to create the Reverse 911 program to prevent situations such as these.
The Act promotes fire prevention by paying residents to have a defensible space around their homes. Though the Federal Fire Prevention and Control Act was effective, there is still progress to be made. Because it was very unorganized, the firefighters were not given clear instruction as to where to go and what to do. 50
to 100 engines from San Francisco all the way down here, and nobody was doing anything. They were just parked at the airport. And they didn't send those engines out anyway.
The Act was established because they found that there was an unacceptably high rate of death, injury, and property loss.
They try to prevent injuries and deaths. They haven't really done that.
This nation continues to have an unacceptably high fire death rate, and the great majority of fire deaths in the United States occur among the elderly and among children aged 14 and younger.
2-year-olds probably is where we start, where they can understand what's going on, all the way up to adults that let them know that they need smoke detectors.
The presence of a smoke detector reduces the chance of dying in a fire by 50%.
The Act allows firefighters to request money in order to raise educational awareness about fire safety.
There's a trailer that makes the rounds around here that has like a fake little kitchen. Kids go in there, learn about the kitchen, learn about boiling liquids and cooking and how to prevent that. A lot of the pamphlets that we have also came out of the Cedar Fire.
Wildfire activity is growing. When you talk about wildfires, most people think states hit by drought like California.
California has been the leading end of wildfire firefighting.
More states than ever are being hit by huge wildfires. I know providing that protection has become more and more expensive, especially on federal level.
That's probably a career fire. Everything was on fire.
The severity of the Cedar fires provided for improvement of the Federal Fire Prevention and Control Act of 1974.
Thanks to the Federal Fire Prevention and Control Act, our houses were saved and the houses of those who were burned down were quickly restored.